Hey there, YouTubers. Levi here. This time we're going over the Witch Doctor. This is the pet-based build, and I've watched a lot of other videos pertaining to this build specifically. And a lot of people say you need to have specific items to make it work, and that may be true for the higher tiers, like once you get into Tier 5, Torment 5, T5, T6. And but just for starting out the build, I was like, you really don't need anything that great. I really have just kind of placeholder gear here. Some stuff that I found off the other end of some of my other characters, like my wizard and all that. We'll kind of go over the basic shell that I have, and um, and then we'll show you some gameplay here in Torment 2 and show you how effective this build really is with just mediocre gear. Now, I do have pretty decent damage, up to 987,000. We got decent health and some good intel for survivability. Paragon is just all movement speed and intelligence. We got some points to spend here. Cooldown reduction, we're going damage, life percentage and resistance, area damage, and life on hit. I'm doing the area damage because we're trying to get as many hits as possible out of the Rain of Toads here. And so the more guys that can hit within an area, the more procs you're going to get on the fetish army here. So the skills, pretty basic. Rain of Toads, Pyrenado, we got Spirit Walk John. I'm using John as opposed to the heal Spirit Walk just because it's a little bit longer, and with things dying around you, you can chain into Spirit Walk and pretty much be unkillable for a period of time. Leeching Beasts for the zombie dogs. I was lucky when I first started playing this build. I got the Tall Man's Finger to make all your zombie dogs into one giant badass dog. That does a ridiculous damage, by the way. Gargantuan Wrathful Protector. With the fire spec, this guy does a ton of damage. Even though it doesn't last the whole time, I do prefer this. The cooldown comes down pretty quick when you got Grave Injustice going and things are dying around you. And then same thing with Big Bad Voodoo. If you fall into an area where you really have trouble, this will take care of everything. But I've had a lot of luck with this build. We're using Grave Injustice, Pierce the Veil, since we don't really have any mana cost, so that's kind of irrelevant. Fetish Psychopants. I think that's a cooler name for this. I like that. So, and then Midnight Feast. The extra zombie dog gets sucked into our bigger dog to make him bigger and stronger, and then the Gargantuan gets extra damage, so that's a pretty sweet buff there. The gear, I found a Carnival, like within playing with this build, and I haven't really decided if I'm gonna do. I've seen like the fetish dart build. I haven't really decided if I'm gonna go that way. It really depends on how the other pieces fall in line with this character. Uh, Pauldron of the Skeleton King, pretty basic, just looking for intel, vite, and some armor and life for survivability. Some really just vanilla trifecta gloves. They just had really good rolls on them. Tall Man's Finger, which was pretty good rolls on that as well. High intel, high vite. The Azor Wrath, we didn't get a stat, so we had to replace the cold damage with a main stat. Really doesn't bother me. We don't have any cold damage on this guy anyway. Boots, just some ice climbers. The freeze is pretty much irrelevant because of how often Spirit Walk comes up. Depth Diggers, just pretty plain Jane right there. Hellcat, damage against elites, attack speed, pretty plain Jane. Blackthorn's Third Coat, really just for the stats, high intel and high vite and high res, decent armor. We got a level 60 amulet here, just because it has trifecta and protects against arcane. The Reaper's Wraps, which are totally irrelevant because we don't use any resource, and it's not doing any physical damage to help buff our pets, so that can be replaced. Stone of Jordan, this was something that I found on my wizard that I just kept because I know how good the Stones of Jordan were, and then I found out that the fetishes actually benefit from physical damage skills going up, as well your other pets, so that's why I'm using that. And then this was just crap that I just crafted to get some decent stats out of it. To just try to hit the 8 and 4,000 mark was really what I was going for. I wanted to have 8,000 intel, 4,000 vite, 50% crit chance, and I wanted to have 400 crit damage. But we're working on it. We're almost there. A few pieces changed in this would make it really, really good. So let's go ahead and summon our giant dog, and we'll zone in to the Weeping Hollow. let's go start making our fetishes here. This guy's over here. It is a little slow to get started compared to like some of the other ones, but this is a really high density area, so we should get an army built up pretty quickly here. I think a dog just crit for like, yeah, for 13, 14 million. It's pretty crazy. Let's go in here. Alright, now let's try to find an elite pack to mow down. We've got a pretty decent amount. That's about average for me when I'm running around. I mean about 8 to 10 little dagger guys, and usually just stay around that number. It's not a huge amount. I've seen, you know, people that can proc the fetish passive a lot more than I can with the gear that I have. But this is just to prove that it's viable with just regular, without anything special, without having any orange stat gear spec to your pets. I mean, granted, the Stone of Jordan does do a big chunk for the elites. Wish I could find an elite pack. Oh, here we go. We'll make one. That works out. Alright, let's take care of those guys. Let's go make an elite pack. We'll summon our big guy. We actually don't even really need to. We'll just tear everything apart in here. We're not even going to big bad voodoo because we just want to show how viable this is without it. Here, we'll just jaunt, go pick up some health globes, and he's down. And those little guys do work. A lot of times I'll just stand right in the middle there too. They'll just come around me and just take care of anything that's trying to hurt me. I know that's not going to be viable in the higher torments. But here, now we'll pop everything and just really melt them down. Boom, dead. And there you go. And that's Torment 2 Witch Doctor with, you know, really mediocre gear that can only get better. So this is a good way if you're starting a Witch Doctor and you're not really sure what build you want to go with. Here you go. You can make a fetish army build without any specific gear and then just go off of that. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you have any advice to make this build better, go ahead and drop a comment below and we can start a discussion. Alright, thanks for watching. Peace out.